Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Got part 2 of the Ghostbusters build. I already started a little bit of the tubing, mostly because of the fact that I wanted to kind of refresh myself before I started the video. And what I did was, I already had one piece that was right here that I already had cut out from the previous water-cooled build. But I ran tubing behind the motherboard tray, coming from the pump to the top radiator. Okay, it doesn't look the prettiest, but it doesn't look the worst either. So, with that being said, though, now we're gonna start working on. And here's the way the order that the loop is gonna go. I'm not the most proud of it, but it's gonna be what works best with the position of everything. Okay, so basically we're coming out of the pump in the res up to the top radiator down to the GPU, because from here to here, this is the inlet of the CPU block, it lines up perfectly, so all I gotta do is a 90-degree bend from here, and then from here down to this right here. So basically out of the rad into the GPU, out of the GPU into the CPU, out of the CPU over here to the bottom radiator, and then from the radiator back into the reservoir. That's the best way I can think of to do it. Now, I'm not going over the top with the Ghostbusters theme on this. I'm going to be putting in little Easter eggs. One of which, if any of you have seen the first Ghostbusters movie, remember the scene at the beginning of the movie when they're in the library and they see the books stacked by the ghost librarian? Well, I'm going to make a GPU support out of little books. Little dollhouse books. And they're going to be the perfect size. I'm going to put it right here on top of the fan, right up to the GPU to hold it up. I'm going to glue them all together. So that'll probably be in the next video. Okay, in this video we're just worrying about the loop. Part 3 will be all the little Easter eggs and decorations. So, first things first, we need to get the heat gun. Now, I'm not going to film every last bend of this, but I'm going to film doing a couple of bends, and then I'll wrap up doing it off camera, and then I'll come back, show the end result, and hopefully no leaks. So let's get to, oh, haha, almost forgot. Need the silicone insert so that you don't end up kinking the tubing. Now, this is just, I've measured, but I'm just going to do a generic 90 in the middle of this and then trim it down as needed. So, yeah, it's just, basically it's just spin the tube over the heat source until it starts to comply, or, well, yeah, comply, until it starts to kind of bend a little bit. You want to be careful doing this because you heat it up too much and you'll bubble the you'll cause the plastic to get bubbles in it. I like to heat it up just a little extra, get it nice and bendy. Basically just hold it like that until it holds its own shape. Now, on the first water-cooled build, on the in-depth build, I did not have this little jig. I just did it, you know, I eyeballed it by hand, or by, yeah, eyeballed it by, you know, by my lonesome. Yep. Ta-da! 90-degree bend. Still just a little warm and started to kind of bounce back. I'm not as concerned. If you notice correctly, let's see if I can get it in there nice and close. If you notice, it does kind of deform the tubing a little bit, but the nice thing about the 16mm tubing, this is why I use it, it doesn't hurt the flow of coolant through, and it doesn't really look that unsightly once it's all together. So okay. The only other problem is getting the damn silicone insert out sometimes. There we go. So now that we got our 90, as you can see, once I trim it down, it will line up perfect with this. So basically, coming out of here, going down to here, it's just going to be out 90, 90 down in here. Out of here, basically I can come down about halfway, 90, and then 90 into the GPU. Or I can do like a 45, and then another 45 and go right directly in there. That seems to be the way it's all lining up. So now it's just a matter of measuring. I measured it out 3.5. I'm just kind of eyeballing this. I use tubing cutters just because of the fact that it gives a cleaner cut. Although I'm noticing you got to be careful with doing this, because if you start to kind of crank into it a little too much, you deform the plastic, and then you got to use one of these, and it's not really working that well. So hopefully my measurements were right. Now 3.5. There we go. And I think I cut it too damn short. Shit. Yep, cut it too short. Luckily, I got plenty of tubing. Let's cut about 10 inches off. Actually, let's go. Let's cut her down to about 8 inches. There. Holy crap, I'm getting a better 90 by doing it this way. Less weird deformity. Weird deformity? No weird deformity. And voila. Now. Let's just cut a little off at a time. And mark down in the comments section how bad a job I'm doing, I know. I'll take the hate. Hey, even us seasoned PC builders can make mistakes. Yeah, we know this was right pretty much on the height. No. It was not right on the height. That's right. Alright. Oh, darn near. Oh, darn near, darn near, darn near. Take just a touch more off. There we go. Now, perfect. All right, that side is good. that's... Let's just try taking... Alright, that's just going to work. So let's go ahead. Get collars on. I did forget to say what kind of fittings I'm using. Using the same fittings, just different color, to what I used on the in Death Build, which is these monsoon fittings for 16mm. And the tubing I'm using is Thermaltake, 16mm tubing, 16mm outer diameter tubing. But yeah, the beauty part is about these, it's got this little plastic locking collar. I don't know if you can see that. It's a conical locking collar. 2 O-rings inside the fitting, and the O-ring there, and then the threaded part. This one's black chrome, but I'm using black in here. Tube goes in here, spin this down, it crushes that collar to squeeze on the tube, and voila. If you got good grip, you can tighten it by hand, or it does come with this fitting. And then you just carefully line it up on there and tighten the fitting down. And voila, tube is locked. Now I'm hoping, I couldn't get the tool up in here, so I'm hoping that I got that one tight enough. We will find out when we go to fire, fire up the loop and test to see if there's any leaks. But now that we got from here to here, we just got to go from here to here. Yeah, that's right. Here to here, here to here, and then voila, we are done. So I will do that off camera, and then I will report back when I am finished. Alright, we're back again. It's actually the same day, surprisingly enough. I was able to actually get all the tubing done. Move this out of the way. We're getting ready to fill it. So, this is what the loop looks like. Now, some of the bends aren't the most perfect, but like I kind of goofed up on this one. It's this part right here is a little too long, just by like that much. It's hardly noticeable, so I'm gonna go with it. And of course, there's this tube right here that is not exactly perfect, but I was trying to go with a 45 and then a 45. I couldn't quite get it measured out right, so I just went with 290s, and I think it actually fits in with the theme of the build because it's all kind of, and then So, but yeah, again, like I said before, out of the pump, through the back, to the top radiator, out of the top rad, down to the GPU, out of the GPU, up to the CPU, out of the CPU, down to the bottom rad, and then out of the bottom rad back into the reservoir so they can go back through the pump. So, we've got everything installed. Now we're getting ready to fill and turn the loop on. I'm running the loop separate from the... Ah, crap. Yeah, it would help if you didn't get too overzealous with filling the loop. Figure once I got the loop filled, then I will go ahead and add the loop prep. So far, so good. Eee, that was not a good sound. As you guys can see, I got the loop all done, and I think it came out pretty good. Now, on the next episode, or next part, or installment, or whatever you want to call it, because I got to run this cleaner through for a few days, because it is the Primo Chill Primo Prep. So, it says to run it for a minimum of 72 hours. So, I'm going to let it run for 3-4 days and have my wife shut it down and just kind of let it sit for a few days. But it's also got to work the bubbles out. But I gotta admit, these D5 pumps are freaking silent. Yeah, it's still running. Yeah, the D5 pump that I got, it is silent. But yeah, just to be on the safe side, I'm gonna leave that there. Leave that there. And leave that there. Okay. So, like I said, next installment, the actual coolant, the stack of books, and whatever other Ghostbusters Easter eggs I can come up with. Anybody in the any of you come up with any ideas for me, leave it down in the comments section, and I'll consider putting it into the build for, because I want just subtle little Easter eggs. I don't want something that I could go with like a Slimer and a Stay Puft figurines, but I don't know. I want to go subtle on this. For some reason I feel like it's better to go subtle. Of course, if any of you are wondering, the reason why it looks cloudy is because of the prep fluid. So, but yep. So, and this is my fill port for the time being. So yeah, it's got to go through its cycle of cleaning, and then we'll be able to hook her up, fire it up for the first time after putting the new fluid in, test run it, put in the decorations, and go from there. Second custom loop, and absolutely no leaks. I attribute it to the monsoon fittings. Double O-rings and that plastic collar for locking it in. No leaks whatsoever. I was a little worried with some of the rotary fittings I put on, the 90-degree rotary fittings, but they seem to be holding, so there you have it. Questions, comments, concerns, and ideas for decorations, leave it down in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the bell notification to get notified when I upload a new video, especially if you're interested in this. And thanks for watching. Bye.